And welcome back to the channel where we talk about only good comics. I'm Brant, and this is First. This is that series where we talk about those brand new #1 issues, new character debuts, new story arcs, and the like. And this is for books that are coming out on September, I believe it's 17th, 2025. So, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the channel. And we got some interesting books to talk about this week. And I've got quite a bit of recaps this week as well. Before I get into all of that, though, I do want to kind of put the teaser out there that I am thinking about a companion series to this, where I split out those recaps, those basically reviews of the issue ones from last week into a separate show. I don't know how soon I'd plan on doing that, or if that's even something that you all would be interested in, kind of splitting that up. And so this would just be about next week's first issues, and then I would again separate those recaps that I usually do on this show out into their own show. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about that, if you'd like to see me do that separate show or not. And I'll talk about a similar show to this one later on in the episode as well. But let's get into those recaps. I've got 5 recaps, I think, this week. Yeah, I've got 5 books that I'm going to talk about from last week. The first one I'm going to be very brief on, and I'll explain why as soon as I show what it is, which is Red Hood, issue #1. The reason I'm going to be brief about this is because the rest of the issues of this series have been canceled. You all probably have heard about all this. I'm not going to go into it. All I'm going to say is I enjoyed the book for what it was. I didn't think it was that bad. I know that I've seen a lot of negative reviews on this book and everything. I thought it was pretty good, actually. I was looking forward to future issues of this. It's unfortunate that it got canceled. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I liked it for what it was, but there's no point in talking about it because it's not going to continue. All right, the next book that I'm going to talk about is from Tom Taylor and Daniel. I'm going to butcher this, but Di Nicolo. I talked about this creative team, top-notch team, but this book, a little bit more all ages than I was hoping it was going to be. I saw that Mike Spider Slayer got recommended this book from his comic shop, said it had a I Heart Skull Crusher kind of vibe to the comic shop owner, and I can kind of get that because they do play soccer, and the art style's similar and everything, but the age range is definitely, it skews younger for this book, and I didn't feel like a whole lot happened this issue, and it was kind of the pacing of it was very rapid, so much so that I didn't get a chance to really get to know any of the characters, even the main character that gets the King Arthur sword and everything. I didn't feel connected to that character at all. It just felt very rushed, and I don't think I'll continue with this one, unfortunately. And I kind of went back and forth on whether I was going to even talk about it because I like to focus on books I like. The reason I decided to go ahead and talk about it was because the art is absolutely beautiful in this book, and the right audience will eat this book up. I think this, for a younger audience, I think they would really like this. It's about a bunch of kids, just regular kids like you and me when we were younger, that kind of stumble across these weapons, these weapons from Camelot, King Arthur's Excalibur and Lancelot's lance, and different weapons like that, and they possess them, and these weapons talk, and they get to take them home, and then they become like this modern version of the Knights of the Round Table. It's a fun concept. It could be a cartoon. It's all that kind of stuff, but I don't think it's for me, which is fine. But if that sounds up your alley, or if you have kids you want to show it to, I think this would be perfect for them. And yeah, I'm a big fantasy fan. I love King Arthur content and everything. It's just, if I was younger, I would love this too, but not for me, but still a good book. All right, next up, I'm going to talk about Let me grab the right image there. I think that's it. Yeah, the Undead Iron Fist issue number 1. I was kind of confused on what this book was going to be when I talked about it last week. I wasn't exactly sure what direction they were going with it, and I wasn't aware that Danny Rand had died. I don't know when this happened or what book it took place in, but we opened this up with like Luke Cage at his grave and finds his grave open and Danny Rand's missing, and throughout the course of it we learn what exactly is going on. And apparently there are these other mystical beings that are possessing people, and Danny Rand has been commissioned in the afterlife to come back and take all these demons out. So basically, I don't know if that's like his way out of the underworld back to the real world, that he disperses all these demons or mythical beings possessing these people, and then he gets a second lease on life or something. I guess that's what we're getting. It wasn't completely clear, but that seems to be the case. And in the process, he runs into Miles Morales, and of course they have the mutual acquaintance of Misty Knight, so they're going to play into that a little bit. So I thought it was pretty good, pretty good start. The art was really nice. It was just a lot of Iron Fist fighting people, and because he's the only one that could see the actual beings, and everybody else, like the onlookers and everything, and including Spider-Man, all they could see was regular people that he was fighting. So that made it interesting because it made him look like a villain. So it could be fun. It could be fun going forward. It's obviously, I think is it a limited or is it an ongoing series? I don't recall if it's an ongoing series or not. My guess is it wouldn't be, but they do reference Immortal Iron Fist in the back, the letter from the writer, from the creator, as a stellar series, and I think that's kind of what they're emulating, what they're trying to be here. So who knows? I guess if sales go well, it'll be one of those that starts off as a mini and kind of extends or whatever. But I thought it was pretty good. It's the best first issue Iron Fist that I've read in a while, and that's saying something, I guess. I do like the Iron Fist character. I like Danny Rand as well. So we'll see. I'll come back for an issue 2 at least, especially because you threw Miles Morales in there. And I thought he was pretty well in character as well. So yeah, I'm curious enough to check out another issue, and we'll see where it goes from there. Next up, we have X-Men of Apocalypse Alpha issue 1. For me personally, I really like this book, but I think this is purely for people that enjoyed the Age of Apocalypse, the original Age of Apocalypse. Now, they do kind of recap everything. They talk about the original Age of Apocalypse, how that came to be, how the timeline was corrected, and the fact that their timeline should have ended once they corrected it, but somehow it splintered off, and now they have this other opportunity to kind of take their lives back into their own hands and maybe get a second chance at a decent life instead of this Age of Apocalypse landscape that they find themselves in, that has neither Professor X or Apocalypse in it, but it's still terrible. And that's kind of where they find themselves. It's your core team. You have Rogue, you have Magneto, you have Gambit, Blink, Creed, Morph, and Wildchild. Throughout this story, Magneto and Rogue, they stay behind. So the characters on the cover are the ones that we deal with, plus Forge is also there as well, and some experiments have been done on him, and some crazy stuff happens there. But it's all in line with everything that happened in the Age of Apocalypse storyline. So I really liked it. I thought the art was really good. It kind of harkened back to that time. Simone DeMeo does the art on this. Jeff Loeb writes it, so it's got that a little bit of a classic feel to it with the narration style and everything. So I really liked it, but I could totally understand people that don't want to, kind of go back into that time period, not liking, because it is a throwback series. I was hoping they were coming to the modern era, but when they do cross over into the 616, X-Man, Nate Gray is there. So that kind of tells you, okay, this is around the time period when Nate Gray crossed over into the 616 and didn't know who he was and all that kind of stuff. So we definitely know the time period, which is not this current time period, which is fine. It's another throwback series. It's nostalgia and everything. But because I love this era and because I love the storyline, I'm going to continue it. But it's definitely a limited audience for this one. And the final book I'm going to talk about is It Killed Everyone But Me from Mad Cave Studios. This is written by Ryan Parrott with art by Letitia Catanese, who I believe, did House of Slaughter. So that is the Something Is Killing the Children spinoff series. I don't know if they did any work in the actual Something Is Killing the Children series or not, but definitely did House of Slaughter. And Ryan Parrott, you may know from Power Rangers and Rogue Sun currently. Ryan Parrott, fantastic writer. I will try out anything that he writes. I'm a fan, and I love the first volume of Something Is Killing the Children too. So you combine those two worlds, it's a very familiar kind of vibe with this book. And basically, this girl in 1996, she and all her friends are attacked, and she is the only one that survives. And so we fast forward to present day, and all of a sudden, teens are getting killed again, and it's in a very similar fashion. And we learn by the end of the issue kind of the secret that she's been keeping all these years, and now she's kind of tied to whatever's happening in some way, but it opens up a whole new mystery for her present day. And she's an adult now. She's a real estate agent. She's got a kid of her own and all this stuff. So obviously she's probably going to want to protect her kid and all this stuff. So very interesting opening issue to this one. Very dark, very grim, supernatural, and all those elements that I like. Plus you throw in Ryan Parrott writing it. So I'm there. I thought it was a fantastic first issue, and I'll definitely be coming back for another one. So that is all the recaps. We're going to dive into some honorable mentions and then those rated books. All right, our first honorable mention here is the DCKO Ash Can. This is the local comic shop day 2025 special edition. If you want to check out a preview of this, I think it's $2. It's 12 pages. You can get your hands on this. Written by Joshua Williamson, Scott Snyder, and this will give you a pretty lengthy preview of what's to come with DCKO in about a month, I believe. So excited about that. So definitely wanted to shout that out if you can get your hands on that one. Next up, I'll just throw these out there all together. There's a bunch of Batman Day reprints. One of them is Absolute Batman issue 1. There's also a work in progress edition of it, which is kind of pencils and inks and stuff like that. So, and there's like Batman and Robin year 1, issue 1, various, I think there's a Gotham sampler, various Batman Day reprints, if you want to check it out, and special editions and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to mention that as well. Next up, we'll talk about Marvel Zombies Red Band issue 1. They are back. They are all over the place. We have the spooky holiday season coming up upon us. So, of course, we're going to bring these back. We've got Ethan S. Parker and Griffin Sheridan writing this, Jan Bazaldua on art duties. Let's see. We've got 4 heroes, the Fantastic Four, obviously featured there on the cover. They are traveling back to the birth of the Marvel Universe parallel to our own. So the birth of the Marvel Zombie Universe, I guess. So that's crazy. So if you're a big fan of the Marvel Zombies, I don't typically get the Marvel Zombie books, but if you typically do, definitely check this one out. All right, next up, Another thing that I don't typically get is these black, white, and red books. I am a big Star Wars fan. I do like Boba Fett, and Benjamin Percy has been killing it. All those factors could persuade me, but I just typically stay away from these because I have so many other books to read. But if you are a fan of any of those elements, any of those creators, whatever, go check this one out as well. And then finally, we have Creepshow issue number 1 for my final honorable mention. And I wasn't going to mention this one, but then I saw the creative team. We've got Jeremy Adams writing this, and Eduardo Rizzo is on the art. This is the 4th volume, first issue. And I don't know if there's other creators involved with this issue or not, but Jeremy Adams writing this kind of piques my curiosity a little bit. I don't typically go for this kind of story, but I do really like Jeremy Adams writing, so I might actually try this one out. Um, but yeah, if you are a big Creepshow fan, definitely check this one out. But with that, we're going to get into those rated books. But before I do, actually, I'm going to jump back to the solo screen to tell you about something. Before I do get into my rated books this week, I do want to give a shout out to my good friend Mike Spiderslayer, who started a similar series to this one called First Issue Fridays today. And we did talk about it beforehand. And we threw, back and forth some ideas. So he does a kind of a scaled down version where he goes through all the first issues coming out, mentions the creators involved, page counts, prices, and shows all the variant covers. And if it's something he's picking up, he goes into just a slight bit more detail. He's still kind of tweaking it a little bit, but it's kind of a quicker kind of scroll through and give you the highlights version of this. So if you kind of want a companion show to this one, go check out Mike's on his channel, Comic Book Corner 2.0. With that said, let's get into my rated books for this week. All right, first up from Image Comics, we have No Man's Land, issue 1. This is written and illustrated by Simon Kudransky, a creator that I have had the good fortune to work with in the past. This is a brand new series, or is it a series or a one shot? I'm not exactly sure. But I did see a preview of some of the art in this one, and it goes from kind of black and white to like a sepia tone. So I'm not exactly sure if what the full series is, if it's full color, or if it kind of goes back and forth, or if that was a flashback sequence. I'm not exactly sure. But it's taking place in the 60s, where and we get some really cool likenesses. I think one of the preview pages showed a really good likeness of like John F. Kennedy and things like that. So we're dealing with the FBI and the KGB, the Cold War, and all of that stuff going on in this. So if you're a fan of that, definitely check this one out. So it says for 3 months each year, you can walk from the USA to Russia across an ice bridge, a frozen path known as the Ice Curtain. But a young woman's body is found on this no man's land, and obviously that causes all kind of tensions between the two warring nations. So yeah, if you're into political drama, murder mysteries kind of stuff, check this one out for me. I'm going to give this one a possibly good. Next up is another cartoon property from my brother's childhood. This was capitalizing on the success of properties like Biker Mice from Mars and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is Street Sharks issue number 1 from IDW Publishing. Probably definitely more for a younger audience, this one. This is written by Stephanie Williams with art by Ariel Medel. So yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Street Sharks. I watched a couple of random episodes here and there with my brother. He had the toys and everything, so it was a little bit after my time. But this mini series kind of capitalizes on that fun. So if you were a big fan of the Street Sharks cartoon series, you might want to check this one out. I know this is not the first Street Sharks comic we've gotten. It does seem like, at least based on this cover here, that we are going for that more cartoony style. Let's see. It says the first Street Sharks comic was more than 20 years ago. And I guess this is the first one in 20 years. Wow, that's crazy. I thought there had been one since then. Um, but yeah, it seems like they're diving just right back into all the cartoon goodness. Doesn't really give you any solid details on story. Just says, he mentions all the familiar characters and everything. So anyway, for me, I'm probably not going to pick this one up, but I will give it a potentially good, just based on the writer and nostalgia and all that stuff. So if you are a Street Sharks fan and you pick this one up, let me know if it's any good. Next up from Image, we have Good as Dead, issue number 1. This is by Maria and David Lapham. And similar, kind of funnily, to No Man's Land, only this is in modern times and in a small town, USA. Someone dies on a bridge. In this case, they set themselves on fire. And so this local sheriff has to kind of stay one step ahead of all the forces in the town. And it looks like there's generations of secrets that are about to come to light and everything throughout this too. So if you like those kind of small town dramas, where something big happens in a place that typically is kind of tame, this seems like one of those kind of stories. Might be right up your alley. Sounds kind of interesting to me. Sometimes I like those kind of stories, so I'm gonna give it a possibly good though, just because you never know with those kind of stories, and I'm not exactly sure based on this cover if I'm gonna be pulled to the art style either. So we'll see. Jumping over to the big two for a minute, we've got the Batman Second Night, issue 1. This is a black label book, 48 pages, $6.99, perfect bound book. And this is by, I believe, Dan Jurgens writes this. Yeah, Dan Jurgens with Mike Perkins on art. And this takes place in the 40s. It's kind of like it's just like a Gotham 1940s murder mystery kind of thing, I believe. Let's see, we've got the fascist regime marching across Europe. Okay, so we're leaning into all the World War II kind of tropes here, and in the meantime, all kinds of bodies are turning up in Gotham, and you've got the Batman trying to solve all these murders, also dealing with a young reporter named Lois Lane, so that's kind of interesting, throwing in some Superman lore into it as well. Which makes sense with Dan Jurgens writing it. So that could be interesting. I don't know if I'm going to pick this one up or not, but it's definitely an interesting concept, interesting time period to kind of explore, going back to the beginnings of the Batman character as well. So I'm going to give this one a potentially good. And yeah, so if you do pick this one up, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one as well. Next, we have Valiant Beyond the Manowar, issue number 1. This is in their brand new Beyond universe, their version of the Absolute or Ultimate Universe. I've only read Bloodshot so far. I have not had a chance to read. I think Shadow Man was the other one that came out so far. I'm just a little behind on my reading, and yeah, those are lower on the reading pile, so I haven't quite got to the next one yet. So. But I did like the Bloodshot one, and I'm definitely going to give this one a shot. This one is written by Steve Orlando, who I really like. Steve Orlando writes the Scarlet Witch various series at Marvel, and I've really enjoyed those. So I'm curious to see what he can do with Manowar. And we've got art by Guillermo Fajardo, who I'm not familiar with. I did see a preview of this. It looked okay. Exo is not typically one of my favorite Valiant characters, so I'm a little hesitant about it, but I'm wanting to try all of these new Valiant Beyond books, so I'm definitely going to check this one out as well, and I'm going to give this one a potentially good, based purely on the writer, honestly. Next up from Ignition Press is Voyeur, issue 1. This is written by Leo Williams with art by David Baldion, so you got notable creators involved with this one as well. So you got this head of security at this upscale resort, and he has access to everything, and he's got some secrets of his own. And then this particular woman comes to stay there, and she catches on that he's kind of spying and that he's also not who he says he is. So I think she's turning the game on him, and that can be kind of interesting. So definitely interesting art as well. Tons of nice covers for this one as well. So I'm gonna give this one a potentially good, and if I can get my hands on it, I'll give this one a shot. Next up from Mad Cave is Flow issue number 1. This one is interesting. This girl goes to this camp, and she gets her period, but she doesn't know what it is, and all these other girls um, take advantage of her naivety and kind of tell her that she's cursed and just make fun of her and make kind of life terrible for the summer. And so years later, uh, these girls that had made fun of her are literally cursed, and they think she's to blame. So they hunt her down, and that's the kind of, goes horrific from there. So very interesting story, kind of strange, but very interesting, and definitely piqued my curiosity. Mad Cave does some really good books as well. So I'm giving this one a promisingly good, and I'm looking forward to this one. I'm definitely going to try this one out. Next up, spinning out of the pages of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we have Casey Jones, his first solo series in 30 years. And this is he got beat down by the district attorney Hale, who kind of got his comeuppance in the last issue of TMNT, and he's been in critical care and everything, but now he's back at it and trying to protect the streets. But things keep getting worse and worse as this new strain of mutagen starts taking place or taking shape and everything. So be interesting. I don't know. I haven't been getting like this. Well, I did get the Shredder spinoff, and that was pretty good. So I'm curious to try this one out and see if it'll be a good companion series to the TMNT series. Oh, I got to give it a rating. I'm going to give this one a potentially good. And lastly, for the first, we've got Marvel DC Deadpool Batman issue number 1. This is the first of these crossovers, which I'm excited about. This one in particular, the main story is written by Zeb Wells with art by Greg Capullo. I know there are backup stories and other writers and artists involved with this as well, top-notch names. But you all know all about this. We've got Adam Kubert and Kevin Smith doing a Green Arrow story. We've got Captain America and Wonder Woman by Chip Zdarsky and Terry Dodson. We've got Jeff DeLanchart by Kelly Thompson. So all kinds of cool content in this book. It's 64 pages for $7. And it's been a while since we've gotten a Marvel DC crossover, so looking forward to this one, and definitely giving this one I'm going to give it a potentially good, and because I just don't know what to expect from it. I'm just excited about it, but I kind of want to temper my expectations a little bit so I don't get too excited about it. So, but I am looking forward to this book. And that'll do it for the first issues. As usual, I'm going to talk about a few other books that I am looking forward to. Fantastic Four issue number 3. First issue was really good. Second issue, a little repetitive, but now the Doom Secret has come out in One World Under Doom and all this stuff. We've got the Fantastic Four, as it claims, they're facing Doom in a way that we've never seen before, and the winner goes to freedom of the entire planet. So we'll see how that plays out, but it's been good so far. Runaways issue number 4, also tying into One World Under Doom. In the last issue, we kind of got teased that Nico might have her magic back, and the first line of the description of this issue says the most magical Manowar yet. So we're going to see if that is true and how that comes into play. Plus Carolina and Alex are back in the mix as well. I just hope that sales have been good enough for this one to bring us another volume of Runaways soon. But I love the series. Of course, Invincible Universe Battle Beast issue number 5. I caught up on this series, actually really liked it. And now we're in this issue, we're getting the secret origin of Prince Salaka, who is that prince that kind of got rescued and taken hostage by Battle Beast. We're going to see what that's all about. Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 38. The cover pulled me in on this issue in particular because we have Black Cat guest starring in this one. And so that's going to be a fun time. Legacy number 320 for that one, by the way. Exquisite Corpses issue number 5. Just a fantastic tournament style horror series. Well, it's not really horror, but it's like a thriller with all these, rich families putting their killers into play for control and all this stuff. And it's been some twists and turns so far, and I'm curious to see what takes place in this next issue. And then G.I. Joe number 11, it's the final showdown with Major Blood. So always excited for a new issue of G.I. Joe. But that's it. That's all the books that I have to talk about this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss any of the other content on this channel. Of course, you can follow me across social media at Only Good Comics, or type in onlygoodcomics.com to take you right back to this YouTube channel where we talk about only good comics. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care, keep reading those comics, and I'll see you soon.